What is going on, everyone? Today I want to talk about communication. I did a short video, a YouTube short, a little bit ago talking about communication is key. And that is probably common knowledge. However, it doesn't seem to be in my daily life. So I got to tell you a little story. And this kind of all came to a head while I was moving. And I won't get into all of the sorted details, but I hired a hauling company. You know, I had lived in my old house for about 10 years, and the backyard was kind of ignored and neglected, let's say, for a number of those years. Plus, I had accumulated 10 years worth of stuff that needed to be hauled off somewhere. So I called up a company, talked to them on the phone. They said, yeah, we'll come out tomorrow, take a look, and we'll figure it out. Like, all right, cool. So they came and looked, said, yeah, it's going to be roughly X. We can start on the following Wednesday or something, a couple days from then. Like, okay, cool. That day comes and goes, nothing. I'm calling, texting, nothing. Radio silence for like a day or two. Finally, I get a call and they're like, dude, I'm sorry, I lost my phone. Whatever BS excuses they had. We'll be there on such and such a day, no problem, Monday. Like, okay. Monday comes, Monday goes. So I call a second company. He comes over Monday night, takes a look, gives me a price. I said, sure, when can you start? He goes, Wednesday. Maybe Tuesday, but Wednesday. All right, cool. Need it done by the weekend. Okay, cool, no problem. Tuesday morning, the first company shows up. I wasn't at home. I had run to this house, my new house. What do you guys think? And when I get home to the old place, there's a truck in the driveway, hauling truck. And I'm like, oh, maybe the second company came early. Nope, it's the first company. They didn't call. They didn't knock on the door. Nothing. They just started working. I was like, dude, no, stop. I already hired somebody. They're coming later to do the work. You're out. So they took the stuff they had already put in the truck. No problem. Said sorry, thanks, blah, 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 and they left. Okay, cool. I talked to the second company and told them the story that, hey, they already moved this stuff. The price is still the same. It's fine. And he goes, all right, yeah, we'll get you taken care of, blah, blah, blah. He flakes on me. Does the same thing, doesn't show up. I called, left messages, nothing. 8 o'clock at night, he's knocking on my door the day he was supposed to have been there, talking about all his problems. I'm like, look, I don't even want to hear your problems. You either want to do the job or you don't want to do the job. No, we'll be here on such and such a time, such and such a day, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, if you're not here, I'm calling the third company 10 minutes later. He shows up, drops one guy off, gets him started, says he'll be back. He never comes back. There's a guy there kind of working all day, kind of not. Second guy shows up in the afternoon. They spent most of the time sitting around doing nothing. I'm calling, leaving messages for the owner. Again, nothing. Oh, my battery died. I had trouble with my truck. Like, guys. So it got really ugly. Long story, a little shorter. They ultimately did do the work. They finished by Friday. I had to tell him, look, you got to get it done or else I can't. I'll just hire somebody else. So they busted ass and got the job done on Friday. And it became a bit of a battle when I went to pay him and stuff like this. It got kind of ugly. I'm not going to go into all the details, but all of this could have been avoided by communication. So that's what we're here to talk about. Just communicate. I've been around, I've been in business a long time. I may not be the best communicator if you ask my ex-wife or my second ex-wife. They'll probably tell you I'm not a good communicator. However, I think I am. I spent a lot of time trying to communicate in business, in knife sales, in watch sale. Like, that's what it ties it all in. Speaking of knives, I was carrying the RJ Martin Q36SS today, and I was wearing a loaned-in watch, a first-gen Omega Planet Ocean. Haven't done the full video on this. It is for sale. If you're interested, hit me up. So that's what I had on my wrist. So the communication kind of goes into selling, buying, trading, all of that stuff. Just communicate. I get it. You may not be on your phone as much as I am. I try to respond in, minutes, maybe an hour. Depends, right? I mean, I have a regular job. Sometimes I can't respond in 5 minutes. I get it. I tell my vendors at work, when they tell me their sad stories about, hey, they were busy, they were in the field all day, this and that, look, I don't expect you to respond in 5 or 10 minutes. Would I like it if you responded in 10 minutes? Sure. I don't expect that. In business, I expect you to respond to my email in 24 hours. Like the next day is fine with me. Sometime the next day. Even if you can't or don't have the answer, tell me, hey, Billy knows that information and Billy's on vacation until Friday. Can I get that information for you on Friday, or is that too long? 9 out of 10 times I'm going to say Friday's fine. I'm really the kind of guy that does what I say, and I expect you to do what you say you're going to do. And really it's about communicating. And communicating is imparting information. It's really conveying information or news to another person. That's really what it boils down to. So I just need you to convey the information to me that I ask for. I don't know why this is such a hard concept. I don't know if it's a generational thing. A lot of the younger people just don't respond. And there's some people at work that they just never respond. The only way you can get a response out of them is to add their boss and their boss's boss and their boss's boss's boss. I've had that problem too. Trying to get medical benefits at the new job I started, things like that, was getting run around from HR. They just wouldn't respond. How bad is it when HR doesn't respond? Like, who do you go to? It became a problem. I finally had to call one of the managers and be like, dude, help me out. I just want to know the information. I don't even care what the date is. I just need to know, when can I sign up? You've already told me 2 dates that have come and gone and I haven't been able to. What's the real date? I just want the real information. And I think most people just want real information. Don't tell me you'll get me something by Tuesday and then I'm begging you for it the following Friday. Just tell me you can't get it until Friday, and I'll be like, all right. I won't be happy about it, but I'll know what to expect. Expectations, really, maybe expectations is what the key is. Setting realistic expectations for the people you're working with, whether it's at work or buying or selling a knife. Set some real expectations. If you say you're going to ship it on Friday, ship that shit on Friday. And if you can't, you better let that person know you didn't ship it. Don't try to fumble around and get it out on Saturday like they're not going to know. Just be honest. We get it. Life happens. You got busy at work. You couldn't get to the post office. That's fine. Just communicate to me that you missed the postman. By the time you box it up, he had already picked up. And you didn't have a chance to drive to the post office. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that. And when you're describing a knife, talk about its flaws. They're going to get the knife and they're going to know that there's a flaw. This particular one, there's a little tiny chip at the tip. If I were to sell this, I would declare that. I would express that. Other than that, it's awesome. The D10 is a finger breaker, but other than that, this knife is just fantastic and awesome. Give the details. respond and reply to people's questions in all things: work, relationships, buying, selling, trading. Doesn't matter. Just communicate. Just respond. Really, that's all I want is you to respond. Even if the answer is, hey, I'm still working on it, I'm not going to know for a few days. Just respond. If the first hauling company would have just talked to me instead of blowing me off and coming up with every excuse they could, because first he had lost his phone and second he was in a hospital with the big tooth thing, which I didn't even let him explain because I don't want to know your problems. You're running a business. Have somebody else call the client then. Second hauling company, I don't care that your truck broke down. And don't work on your piece of junk truck in my driveway for several hours and not work on my backyard. And then tell me you went above and beyond. I haven't written my review for Nextdoor yet, I think is the app my girlfriend found them on. But yeah, I can do that now because I'm fully moved. And I don't know that they know where I moved to. But it got kind of ugly at the end. There were some threats thrown around and it was bad. So I haven't made a review. And I think I'm just going to put some bullet points. Hey, they ultimately did a job. But here's some things to work why I would not recommend them. I'm not going into all the details. But again, I have to communicate that to the masses because I had such a horrible experience. Just talk to people. Remember, and I've talked about this before, words mean something. And often, that's why I'm doing this video kind of, I don't know what they call it, talking head style. Because we get behind our keyboards and we feel like there's not a real person on the other side. And people just bang out whatever they want. Freaking keyboard warriors. People are asses. Total jerk-offs. We need to remember that there's a real live person on the other side of that keyboard, and we need to choose our words appropriately. And again, just communicate. I don't know. That's all I got, guys. I had to share this story a little bit with somebody and just impress upon you to respond to people, to communicate well, to listen, and explain fully the knife or watch that you're selling. Really, that's the key. But it does kind of trickle over into work relationships, personal relationships, business, all of that. Communication. You can over-communicate. A lot of people say you can't over-communicate. You can never communicate too much. You can. If you're communicating something minute by minute, every hour, here's the update, you can kind of drone people out. It becomes white noise at that point because you're giving too many details over the course of a day. It's a fine line, over communicating and not communicating enough, but that's a different topic. Anyway, I'm going to put a link in the corner to my kind of random Dirkscussions where I've just talked about some random stuff. Mental health, all these different things. I'm going to put a link in the corner to that playlist so you can check that out. If you like this style of videos, let me know. I like to do a few more talking head type things. I've done a couple in the past. It's just different. I like to shake it up, do things differently than just the top-down tabletop thing that me and every other freaking YouTuber's doing. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you've gotten this far, thank you. If you haven't gotten this far, well, then thanks for at least clicking on it. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day. And, hey, you'll at least see my hands on the next video. You might see my shining face. Who knows?